First and 12. A weekly roundup of America's most competitive football conference, the Big 12. Your hosts are Mitch Harper and Alex Kirry.
Welcome back into First and 12, hour number 2. Hopefully all of you are having a fantastic Wednesday evening. Typically we're on Tuesday nights, 7 to 9, here on KSL News Radio. But this week with some scheduling, some Utah Jazz basketball pushing us back to a Wednesday. We're happy to be with you on this Wednesday night spot. Mitch Harper and Alex Kirry with you. And Alex, I think for the first time ever, we've got a power rankings where we know probably who's at the top and definitely who's at the bottom. Let's get to it, the Big 12 power rankings.
The Big 12 Power Rankings, a weekly rank of all 16 programs, from the elite to the bottom dwellers.
We've been doing this show since 2023, and like I said, I don't think we've ever had this, where we confidently know who's number 1 and who's 16.
Yeah, and I think it's just going to keep getting, more and more delineated, right? We're going to have a little bit more of a black and white look as to what this thing looks like, and let's go this week. Let's mix it up a little bit. And let's start from the bottom up. How about that?
Okay, let's do that.
Not that the top is very much in question, but I do think that I forgot to send you this video. I sent it to JJ today. But did you see Mike Gundy post on social media?
Oh yeah, the hockey team, the ice pokes.
Get your tickets to Bedlam, and he's wearing his signature Oklahoma State visor. He's wearing an Oklahoma State polo.
It was weird, man.
And I was like, first of all, this is the most social media I've ever seen Coach Mike Gundy do. Maybe he's trying to dip his toes into the water because if he's going to have a job going forward, he could. But anyway, bottom line is Oklahoma State might have more people watching the hockey team against Oklahoma this next week than they are their team. Oklahoma State falls in maybe the worst game of the season between Oklahoma State and Kansas State, the Yuck Bowl. It was just bad, and they continue to be at the very bottom. Colorado continues to be a question mark. They get back to playing again this week after taking the week off, and I don't know what version we're going to see of Colorado this week, but man, they're not very good. UCF getting their butts handed to them by Texas Tech is not necessarily something that we didn't expect to happen, but because everybody's getting their butts handed to them by Texas Tech. But man, it was an awful game. I think 13, Kansas. Any questions there? Again, it's really, really interesting how little we're even talking about Kansas at this point of the year. And Lance Leipold should be wondering about what his future looks like coaching-wise. I don't think they're going to pull the rug out from under him, but I wonder if he's looking around necessarily because of all the jobs that have popped up. And Kansas has just been underperforming. You get all this brand new stuff. You have all you have this team that everybody's excited about. You have a kind of a decent start to the season, and man, they've fallen off. Number 12 on the list, Kansas State. This is a team that we were wondering where they were going to be, and 12 was not going to be it. 12 and 13 for Kansas State and Kansas, respectively, is probably the biggest shock to me about where teams are in this thing.
Well, especially when you consider Kansas State started the season, and I know we knocked the preseason polls, but they were a top 15 team, and now they're 12 in the power rankings, and that win over Oklahoma State was terrible. I mean, 14-6. There's an argument to be made that we could have dropped them further, but I still think K-State is better than Kansas, UCF, Colorado, and Oklahoma State.
Those poor guys have to go up to Utah this week, man.
You know what? K-State, what shocks me, too, is just 2 weeks ago, K-State was pretty competitive against Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Or 3 weeks ago.
12-7 at the half, right?
They were right there until late turnovers in Manhattan to have Texas Tech on the ropes. So it's crazy how far that team has fallen. And number 11, West Virginia, I know they're not going to a bowl game, but again, I thought they showed some fight against Arizona State. And for this week, in this snapshot, give some momentum to West Virginia, who's won 2 out of their last 3 and really put up a good fight at ASU. Number 10, Baylor. This is a team that we could have dropped even further, but it's kind of like you're better than West Virginia, but at the same time, you're not that great.
Right. The other teams behind you are there because it's almost like they're fighting to see how bad they could be, right?
Yes.
And so that's the only reason I think that that Baylor is at 10 because they could be a little bit further down. But if you're talking about morale at programs, they're probably in that 14, 15 range as well. They're just going through it, man, right now. So Baylor getting their butts handed to them by Utah this week. That didn't help. TCU getting their butts handed to them by BYU this week. That didn't help them either. This is a team that look, they're all ready to bowl eligibility, but no one cares. You were in the national championship discussion 2.5 years ago, and that's a weird place to be in for Sonny Dykes and his program right now.
Doesn't it feel like he could be a job, or his spot could be one of those shocking, Sunday after the regular season ends, there's been a change in leadership at TCU.
He goes to Arkansas or something,
or TCU moves on, because it just feels like they've lost all the momentum in that program. They just seem stale. Like watching that game, you and I both were there at LaVell Edwards Stadium watching that game, and like, TCU, where are the athletes? Where's the speed? Where's the talent? It's not showing up at all. It's there, I think, but they just didn't seem to care, and BYU hammered them.
Yes.
I was blown away by that, and I just thought, man, are they kind of internally just folding up shop on the season and not listening to Sonny Dykes? That was just really telling that there was no fight in that team, and makes you kind of wonder.
Adding to the long list of teams that are in that mushy middle of the Big 12 that we talk about all the time is Iowa State, that we just kind of look at and go, I don't know what you're seeing with this Matt Campbell team, but you can't be at the top of the conference every year, I guess. And when you've added teams into the conference that are really talented, are very, very good at recruiting, and are making a difference like immediately when it comes to the NIL space and all that, you're competing against programs that are hungry right now. And I don't think Iowa State is away from that, but I do think that they lost. I mean, what was it, 4 in a row that they had lost before they finally got that win over TCU? But we'll see what they do this week as well. Cincinnati falls to 7 in our rankings. I'm okay with that, because 2 losses in a row is going to make you fall in any poll. And in our power rankings right now, we just don't know what Cincinnati's made of at this point.
That's right. And I think, too, that they just had some real issues on their offense, because that was the calling card, was how high-powered their offense was earlier in the year, and makes you wonder, was it a byproduct of a weaker schedule? Now that the tougher teams are appearing on the schedule, it hasn't been smooth sailing for the Bearcats.
I'm going to bring something up here, as I think we're at now, what do the kids call it? We're at so I think we have S-tier.
Yes,
teams.
S-tier. Yes,
and right now we're still not there. We're kind of in that the second tier, and there might only be one S-tier one if you really talk about. I don't know, but when you talk about a next level, I think that 6, 5, and 4 are teams that are really good and have had great seasons, but they're just not quite there yet compared to the top 3. Arizona at 6, Houston at 5, and Arizona State at 4. I think they all kind of are in the same family together. Arizona State now with the Sam Leavitt deal, and now also with the fact that they don't have their star quarterback. They're winning games, but if you win 125-23 over West Virginia, you kind of go, good for you, question mark? You don't know necessarily, but I don't know if they're going to end up a 7-win team at the end of it, if they're going to end up an 8-win team at the end of it. But I think that Arizona State has had a decent year, but all things considered, with being as banged up as they are, Houston is having an exceptional season compared to last year, but they're not there yet. And Arizona, the close games that they had that they could have won, they didn't. So that's where they are. And I think that 6, 5, and 4 with Arizona at 6, Houston at 5, and Arizona State at 4. I'm perfectly okay with that. And frankly, those teams should probably be okay with it too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also too underrated with Arizona State was that it has been a good follow-up year to a great season. Mm-hmm. It's not living up to the expectations of being back-to-back Big 12 champs. I mean, there's still a chance if tiebreakers get really funky this week and next week, but they're showing consistency, which is something that's never happened often since the days of, when was the last time they were consistent? Arizona State, you got to go back forever. Yeah. So that is, I think, too, promising with the Sun Devils going forward when you're looking at this conference and how it's taking shape in the years to come. Numbers 2 and 3, this is what we would call, is it
excellent? I think it would be excellent, because they're not elite.
But what do the kids say? S tier, and then is it A tier or is it B tier?
Oh, no, it is. It's A.
It's A tier,
they do the A tier.
So the A tier.
The A tier, I think BYU and Utah are both in that category. They're excellent. They are at a different level from other teams in the conference. They're definitely that cream of the crop, but they're not the very, very grade that S tier, which is, of course, Texas Tech at number 1, who have set the standard in the conference this year. And they are the best hope for a team, I think, in the Big 12 to not just, they'll be in the playoff. I think either way they're going to be in the playoff, barring something insane happening. But I also think that they're going to probably be the first Big 12 team in the last couple of years to win a college football playoff.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you think that Texas Tech can win the national championship? I do. I think they could win
That
it.
one's hard for me to turn the corner on. I think they could be in the national championship game, which means that you could be a contender. Like, I mean, on any of these days, like David Bailey lining up from anybody, I would have confidence in him ruining any offensive line and any quarterback that day on any given day. And so why not? And Jacob Rodriguez is a phenomenal linebacker. Please don't tell me that he's a dual threat. But I wonder if Baron Morton is the elite quarterback play that you need to be a national champion. That's the only thing that I wonder about. And I also wonder how healthy he is. I mean, they got the week off this week, which is good for them because he was limping around and still able to beat BYU, which is pretty crazy. So that's the only thing I wonder about is if they can get things going. Think about how their best running back went out before the season even started.
Yeah, it's
Next
amazing.
year is going to be crazy for them because I think they're going to be really good still.
It's amazing how Texas Tech has just really evolved as a program. Let's take a break. On the other side, we'll get to some maybe coaching carousel chatter. The Big 12 carousel is potentially moving here a bit. We'll talk about that next here on First and 12.